Have you ever been going about your day, maybe just pouring a cup of coffee or scrolling through a menu trying to choose a movie, and suddenly you get this creeping feeling?
Yeah, that sudden sense of like, wait, is this real?
Exactly. It's like this tiny, persistent whisper in the back of your mind asking if your daily choices are actually yours. I mean, are you making a spontaneous decision, or are you just predictably fulfilling some algorithm running in a massive invisible simulation?
It's the kind of question that completely reorients how you view your own life, honestly. The second you start taking that premise seriously, everything shifts.
Right, because if you assume for a moment that your environment is curated, then your definition of free will has to change entirely.
Absolutely. The whole concept of agency just gets thrown out the window.
And taking that premise seriously is really the beating heart of today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We are unpacking a truly fascinating stack of articles from a publication called The Parallel Observer.
Which is such a brilliant source, by the way.
Oh, it's incredible. It's spearheaded by John Grant, the CEO of Innov8XR, and I mean, the scope of what they are covering right now is massive.
Yeah, they're looking at some really sweeping changes.
Right, specifically this massive new initiative rolling out right now called the National AI First Framework. The stated mission of this thing is to completely democratize education across the U.S.
But it doesn't stop at education.
Not at all. The ripples from this framework push so much further. It bleeds into bioethics. It reshapes how we approach physical and mental health care. It changes the very nature of how we play and compete. And ultimately, it offers a way to decode our past to see if we are, in fact, living in a simulated reality.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, but to grapple with those broader sort of existential questions, we really have to look at the actual machinery being built first.
Right, you have to look at the blueprint.
Exactly. We need to understand the mechanics of this framework that is currently being installed into our societal infrastructure, starting with the classroom.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the core piece of reporting here from the Parallel Observer details the launch of this framework to, quote, unlock human potential.
Which is quite a promise.
It's a huge promise. The pitch is that by integrating AI deeply into the educational system, we create this highly inclusive, highly innovative approach to learning for every single student, totally regardless of their zip code.
Democratizing access at a fundamental level.
Right. But, I want to get past the buzzwords here. How does an AI actually partner with a student on a ground level to achieve this? I mean, how does it work?
Well, the mechanism is really what separates this from just, slapping a tablet on a kid's desk and calling it a day.
Right, we've seen that before.
Yeah, historically, educational tech just delivered information. It was basically a digital textbook. But the AI-first framework fundamentally changes the architecture of learning by mapping a student's cognitive pathways in real time.
Wait, mapping their pathways, what does that actually look like?
So, the system actively monitors how you learn. It watches how long a student hesitates before answering a math problem. It tracks their eye movements to see exactly which part of a paragraph they reread.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it even analyzes their syntax to identify exact conceptual blind spots. So it doesn't just grade the final test, it actively observes the entire mental process leading up to it.
So it's watching how you think, not just what you output.
Exactly. And once it maps how your specific brain synthesizes information, it dynamically rewrites the curriculum to fit your exact cognitive profile.
So it is constantly adjusting the presentation of the information to make the learning process completely frictionless for that specific kid.
Right, it adapts on the fly.
But here's where I have to push back a little bit. If we have a centralized AI framework standardizing exactly how we unlock human potential by essentially removing all the friction, aren't we risking turning students into, like, uniform products?
That's a really valid concern.
Because, I mean, friction, frustration, failing at something, that is historically where actual learning happens. If the AI is just guiding everyone down this perfectly smoothed out path, are we actually fostering diverse independent thought? Or are we just producing highly efficient, identical minds?
Well, see, that is the defining tension of the entire initiative. And the architects behind the framework actually acknowledge this.
Oh, really? They know it's a risk.
Yes, absolutely, which is why the system is designed to introduce what they call artificial friction.
Artificial friction. Okay, explain that.
So the AI handles the standardized mechanics, the rote memorization, the baseline processing. It handles all that instantly.
Right.
But once it establishes that baseline, it deliberately introduces ambiguity. It might present conflicting historical narratives or give you a physics problem with missing variables.
Oh, I see. So it purposely trips you up.
Exactly. The AI demands that the human student step in to handle synthesis and critical thinking, because those are skills that algorithms, by their very nature, struggle with. Algorithms require calculated steps, but human synthesis requires intuitive leaps.
So the goal isn't actually to remove the challenge entirely, but to elevate the challenge,
Yeah.
moving it from just basic memorization to high-level creative problem solving.
Precisely. It shifts the human role from being just a storage drive to being an executive processor.
The human becomes the abstract thinker, and the AI acts as the ultimate cognitive co-pilot.
That's the perfect way to phrase it.
Well, I mean, that sounds incredible in theory, right? But that level of bespoke, hyper-personalized learning has a massive cost attached to it. And the currency there is data.
Oh, an unbelievable amount of data.
Right. To perfectly tailor a curriculum to your exact cognitive profile, the system requires immense, unimaginable amounts of personal data from you, which frankly leads us right into the darker implications of all this optimization.
Yeah, because when a system maps your mind that thoroughly, the question immediately shifts. You have to ask, who is really in control of the trajectory of your life?
And the Parallel Observer tackles this head on. They had this really compelling article exploring bioethics in an AI age.
It's a fantastic read.
It really is. It looks at the ethical dilemmas of having AI systems dictate learning and then eventually career paths and life choices based entirely on these predictive data patterns. It brings us straight to the core questions of individual agency.
Yeah, what does agency even mean in that context?
Exactly. If I can use a metaphor here, it feels a bit like walking through a really dense forest where someone has secretly paved a perfectly flat, invisible path just for you.
Oh, that's a great visual.
Right. You feel like you are exploring, but you're actually just being funneled forward because it is the path of least resistance.
The invisible path is really the perfect way to visualize algorithmic determinism.
Algorithmic determinism.
Yeah, because if the environment around you is constantly optimizing itself to present you with only the choices you are most likely to succeed at, the boundaries of your free will become incredibly blurry.
So my question is, if a student's entire academic and personal path is being dictated by an algorithm that predicts exactly what is quote-unquote best for them at any given moment, are they genuinely making choices?
That's the million-dollar question.
I mean, if you choose option B from a menu of options that an AI specifically curated because it knows with 99% certainty, you will pick option B. Are you exercising agency, or are you just obediently executing a programmed directive?
Well, the bioethical trap here is that the loss of agency doesn't actually register as oppression to the individual.
Oh, interesting. What does it feel like then?
It feels like convenience. It feels like serendipity.
Things are just working out for you.
Exactly. When the AI curates your skills and suggests the optimal career trajectory for your specific psychological profile, you feel like things are magically falling into place. You think, wow, I found my calling.
Right. Feels good.
It feels great. But beneath the surface, your entire reality is a closed feedback loop. You are simply reacting to an environment that the AI has already perfectly curated, based entirely on its predictions of your reactions.
Man, it creates a perfectly optimized human being, but maybe an entirely predictable one.
Precisely.
And that tension between data-driven efficiency and our own human agency, it inevitably bleeds out of the classroom. It moves into how we treat our physical bodies and our minds.
Because health is arguably the most intimate data we could possibly generate.
Absolutely. And the promises the AI-first framework makes regarding healthcare are profound, mainly because biology is fundamentally a massive data set.
That's right. Biology is just complex math when you get down to the molecular level.
According to the reporting here on AI-driven health, we are looking at hyper-personalized physical and mental health care solutions. We are talking about AI systems that analyze your biometrics, your genetics, your daily micro-habits.
Even how much sleep you got last night.
Everything. And then they offer wellness regimens that traditional human-led medical practices just cannot match in terms of scale and precision.
They just don't have the processing power to do what the AI can do.
Right. But the text carries a massive critical warning about sidelining human feelings and empathy in favor of pure data analysis.
And that is a crucial warning, because the friction here lies in the difference between treating a biological machine and treating a human being.
Okay, unpack that difference for me.
Well, data can calculate the optimal state of the machine. It can fix the numbers, but it fundamentally lacks the capacity to contextualize the human experience.
So here's where it gets really interesting to me. Imagine for a second an AI therapist.
Okay, a terrifying thought, but let's go with it.
Right. It monitors your heart rate, your vocal stress, your eye movements through your devices.
Yeah.
It knows your entire psychological history.
It probably knows you better than you know yourself.
Exactly. It knows exactly mathematically what words you need to hear to calm your nervous system down in that exact moment.
Right.
But it is just code. It does not actually care about you.
Yeah.
So if an AI gives me the perfect medical or psychological advice, but fundamentally lacks the capacity to feel empathy, does that absence actually limit the healing process?
Oh, absolutely.
Are we treating people, or are we just debugging them like software?
The distinction between treating and debugging is incredibly vital here. If we look at the neurology of how humans actually heal, human biology and psychology are deeply, deeply intertwined with social connection.
So empathy isn't just a mood booster.
No, it's physiological. When a human doctor or therapist sits across from you and looks you in the eye with genuine conscious concern, your brain's amygdala actually downregulates. Your body releases oxytocin.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that biochemical reaction is a biological prerequisite for certain types of healing. It is literally what drives the placebo effect. It lowers systemic inflammation. It boosts the immune system.
So the empathy isn't just like a nice customer service bonus. It is an active medical mechanism.
Exactly. An AI can calculate the perfect sequence of words to lower your cortisol, sure, but humans have highly attuned mirror neurons.
Meaning we can tell if it's fake.
Right. If your brain detects that there is no conscious intent behind those words, no shared vulnerability, no genuine emotional stake, the biochemical reaction of trust just doesn't trigger in the same way.
So the body rejects it on a subconscious level.
Exactly. If health becomes a mere mechanical maintenance routine dictated by an unfeeling algorithm, we might optimize the biological machine, but we completely alienate the human being inside it.
That makes total sense.
The real challenge of this AI age is integrating these incredibly precise healthcare solutions while aggressively protecting the space for human-to-human empathy.
Because if we don't, our understanding of health becomes incredibly cold, even if it is highly effective.
A perfectly tuned engine with no one driving it.
Well said. So the AI is optimizing our learning and it's optimizing our biology. But apparently it is also coming for our downtime.
It changes everything.
Yeah, it is completely transforming how we compete and how we play.
Which is fascinating because recreation is really the next logical frontier. Once you optimize work and health, the human drive for competition naturally seeks out new arenas.
And the intersection of AI and athletics is evolving so rapidly right now. Looking at the reporting on the surge in esports and AI-enhanced athletics, universities are harnessing this exact framework to enhance gaming and physical skills.
Blending learning, art, and recreation all together.
Right. But when I read about this, my mind immediately goes to the idea of athletes essentially wearing robotic exoskeletons.
Right, the cyborg athlete.
Yeah. I mean, if both players in a competitive match are using an AI co-pilot to perfectly optimize every single micro decision they make, like analyzing opponent weaknesses, calculating trajectory, predicting movements in real time.
Doing all the heavy computational lifting.
Right. So are the humans even competing anymore? Or are we just meat puppets acting out the commands of two algorithms battling each other?
Well, that assumes the nature of the game remains static.
Okay, what do you mean?
What actually happens when AI enters the fray is that the baseline of the game elevates to a level we currently can't fully comprehend. Think about the concept of centaur chess.
Okay, I am fascinated by this concept, but I need you to break down how that actually works.
Sure. So when supercomputers first beat human grandmasters like Kasparov back in the day, the narrative was that chess was essentially solved.
Right, people thought human competition in chess was dead.
Exactly. But instead, players adapted by creating an entirely new format. In centaur chess, a human and an AI team up to play against another human AI team.
So it's 2-on-2 technically.
Right. The AI explores 1 billion potential moves and tactical calculations in a fraction of a second. But AI struggles with a long-term, abstract, strategic intuition. It doesn't read the psychology of the opponent.
Oh, interesting.
So the human isn't just blindly following orders. The human is evaluating the AI's complex tactical suggestions and choosing which overarching strategy to pursue based on intuition and psychological pressure.
So the AI handles the micro-tactics,
Yeah.
and the human manages the macro strategy.
Yes. The entire nature of the competition shifts. It's no longer about raw human reaction time or strategic memory.
Because the computer has perfect memory.
Right. The true competition becomes about which human can best synthesize, interpret, and execute the AI's insights in real time.
Oh, wow. So the foundation of the competition changes entirely.
Completely. It shifts from who is physically or mentally faster to who is the better executive decision maker managing a hyper-intelligent tool.
That's wild. It forces humans to develop an entirely new set of cognitive muscles.
Muscles specifically related to synergy and collaboration with non-human intelligence.
That completely redefines our entire concept of rivalry. The human isn't obsolete. Their contribution is just moved up the chain of command.
Exactly. We become the generals, not the foot soldiers.
Okay, so we have AI shaping the future of how we learn, how we heal, and how we play. But according to the Parallel Observer, there's another massive implication here.
Oh, the digital archaeology angle.
Yes. The sheer volume of data we are generating by living inside this AI framework is simultaneously giving us the tools to look backward. We are generating the computing power to decode the very foundation of our existence.
And this is where the framework intersects with the simulation hypothesis in a highly, highly practical way.
The concept detailed in the reporting is called digital archaeology. The idea is that we can use these massive AI frameworks to dig into our quote-unquote simulated roots to discover the hidden frameworks that might govern our reality.
Which sounds completely crazy at first.
It totally sounds like a sci-fi trope, like we're trying to find the original source code of the universe.
Right.
So how does digital archaeology actually function on a mechanical level? I mean, we aren't digging up digital pottery shards, so what are the researchers actually looking for?
They are looking for anomalies in the baseline data.
Anomalies, like what?
Okay, think about how cosmologists study the cosmic microwave background radiation to understand the Big Bang. They look for the faint underlying mathematical echoes of the universe's creation.
Right, the leftover static from the beginning of time.
Exactly. Digital archaeology applies that same principle, but to the petabytes of data generated by human behavior, physics, and historical records.
Okay, I'm following you.
If our reality operates on a foundational programmed framework like a simulation, that framework will have mathematical limits and parameters. It has to.
Because all software has limits.
Yes. So researchers use the AI to run predictive models of human history backward. They are looking for rounding errors or patterns in historical data that shouldn't naturally exist unless they were programmed constraints.
They're essentially looking for a glitch in the physics engine.
Or a glitch in the historical record, yeah.
That is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But, okay, here is my concern with that epistemological approach. If our history and our reality are just data within this framework, doesn't that mean our past can simply be patched?
What do you mean by patched?
Well, like software updates.
Yeah.
If we discover that history is just code, how can we ever trust that the database hasn't been rewritten, updated, or wiped entirely by whoever or whatever is running the system?
And there it is. That is the ultimate crisis of truth in a data-driven existence.
It's terrifying.
It is. If reality is mediated entirely by AI frameworks, the integrity of the data is literally the only tether we have to objective reality.
Right.
That is why digital archaeology is so crucial. It isn't just an academic exercise in finding out if we are in a simulation for fun. It is about finding the immutable laws of the data structure.
The things that cannot be changed.
Yes. If we can identify the foundational rules, the parameters that physically cannot be rewritten, we can anchor our understanding of truth.
So we had to find the immutable code just so we have a solid foundation to build our future upon.
Precisely. Because if we don't understand the biases, the parameters, and the initial code of our reality, we cannot ethically govern our AI-first future.
We'd just be building on sand.
Exactly. We have to look backward to ensure that as we build new algorithms for education, healthcare, and society, we aren't just blindly amplifying the invisible programmed parameters we were born into.
We have to know the rules of the game before we can change them.
That's the only way forward.
Wow. Let's take a step back and synthesize this entire journey for you listening, because we have covered a lot of ground today.
It's a massive topic.
We started with the National AI First Framework, which is fundamentally rewriting the architecture of how we learn by mapping our cognitive pathways. And we explored how that demand for optimization leads to the bioethical trap of algorithmic determinism, where our free will gets replaced by an invisible, perfectly paved path.
And then we examine how that tension bleeds right into our physical reality. We are facing a future of highly precise, data-driven healthcare, which forces us to protect the neurological necessity of human empathy, just so we don't reduce healing to mere debugging.
Right. And we saw how recreation is evolving into this incredible collaborative synergy between human intuition and machine calculation.
And finally, we arrived at digital archaeology. Using the sheer computational power of this framework to run reality backwards, searching for the immutable source code of our existence.
It is a deeply, deeply interconnected web where every single advancement forces us to reevaluate what it actually means to be a conscious entity.
I think the essential takeaway for you listening to this deep dive is that a passive relationship with technology is just no longer viable.
It's just not an option anymore.
No. When you interact with these AI systems, whether it's a dynamically shifting curriculum and algorithmic health diagnosis or a predictive model of reality, you are actively co-authoring your existence with it.
Co-authoring reality. I love that.
And as this framework scales up, navigating these ethical and philosophical dilemmas is going to require a level of continuous critical thinking that humanity has never really had to sustain before.
We are fundamentally altering the operating system of humanity, and we have to stay awake at the wheel.
We really do.
It is incredible to consider just how fast this paradigm is shifting. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the insights from the Parallel Observer, I want to leave you with one final lingering thought to explore on your own.
It's a big one.
It is. We have spent this entire time talking about optimization. The AI-first framework is designed to perfect our education, eliminate our biological inefficiencies, optimize our strategies, and generally smooth out our entire existence. But if we are moving into a reality entirely optimized by programmed directives, what happens to the concept of mistakes?
That is the real question.
Will there still be room in our highly curated, completely frictionless future for the beautifully flawed, unoptimized accidents that have historically driven human evolution, art, and discovery? Are we about to algorithmically edit out the very things that make us human?